Hey everyone, Ben here at Spa for my one and only race in the Super Formula this week. We've managed to put the car in P4 of a 1.9k grid, and trust me, you won't want to miss any of this race. It's an absolute banger with a quite unbelievable finish. Let's get down to the grid. Here we go then, waiting for the lights at Spa. Now it looks like I've got the pace for a podium, or at least to challenge, but right now sitting on the grid I'm just concerned about making it through T1 as the lights go green and we are underway. We get a slightly sluggish start compared to the drivers up ahead. We've got another driver, Jonathan Gonzalez, challenging from behind. On the inside I'm going to take a nice wide line and then look in the mirror, he's gotten absolutely obliterated behind and there's a big accident into the hairpin there. We've gotten through all right, we're up still in P4. It looked also like the pole position driver was very wide through T1 there, so I wonder if he is going to get some kind of penalty for that because he carried a huge amount of speed. That's Gantulga I'm talking about. He's in the lead of this race right now as we come into Le Combe for the first time, and we've massively outbraked ourselves. And yes, look at that, Gantulga is off to the right hand side, slowing down. I think that has to be a penalty from T1, but speaking of T1, let's go back and see exactly what played out. Look out for the green livery car of Zachary Allen spearing to the right hand side and then slipping across the track, and he takes with him at least 4 or 5 drivers. We'll see it again from his on board. He actually gets a good start, so this crash is not because of wheel spin, it's because he overreacts to a car on his inside, gets out onto the grass verge and then is a passenger. We rejoin the live action then at the beginning of lap 2 and we're in P3. The leader's just about a second up the road, but Dylan Mettler in P4 is less than a second behind. In fact, he's going to be well within my slipstream here as we climb up through Eau Rouge and into Radion and back onto the Kemmel Straight once again, and he will be putting me under all kinds of pressure here. By the time we get to the end of the Kemmel Straight, you can see him closing in the rear view mirror. I'm not actually able to use my boost here to defend because I used it on the previous lap. It's recharging and that allows him to swoop around my outside and take the podium position away from me. But my hope now is we're going to be able to stick with Mettler and then hopefully be able to get him back later on in this race. The question really is then, are we able to follow him closely through the middle section of this lap at Spa, where really in these cars, chances to overtake are pretty limited. You're essentially looking through Blanchimont and into the final chicane, or down the Kemmel Straight and into Le Combe. Those are the two big chances. So for now I'm just trying to not make a mistake, follow in the dirty air behind him here and put enough pressure on that if he makes an error I'm able to capitalise on it, but crucially that I'm in position for one of those big braking zones to potentially get alongside. Unfortunately for me, it looks like he's had a better exit there onto this back straight. We're still just half a second behind though. We've got Gantulga recovering behind us as well. He's another half a second back, so this is a very tight 3-way battle for P3 in this race, and look at the difference the slipstream makes. You can see I'm closing right in on Mettler's rear wing here, but we're not going to be close enough to get alongside into the chicane, so we are just following him through here. There's half a chance into T1 to get a move down the inside, but you've got to be much closer than I am to Mettler right now as we hit the braking zone, and again just trying to prioritise a good exit here. Now our boost button will be recharged, but I'm not going to necessarily take advantage of it because when we're in the slipstream I'm going to be hitting the rev limiter anyway, so I've got to be strategic here about saving some of my boost for later in the race as we come up over the top of Radion. Mettler is using his boost here to try and combat the slipstream that I've got, but look at the closing speed that we've got here. I'm going to peel to the outside at the last possible moment to maximise that, but it's not close enough. Oh, we get a little tag from behind and Mettler is off onto the grass. He's cut the corner and look at that, he rejoins up ahead of us, but he peels off to the right hand side. Presumably he had a slowdown penalty as well. Very sportsmanlike there of Mettler to get off the racing line, but let's see on replay exactly what played out there then. You can see he just carries too much speed and wow, he does well to hold on to that. Thankfully he didn't collect me when he rejoined the track, and as I say, good sportsmanship there to get off the racing line to serve his slowdown penalty. But did we get a hit from behind? Well, I think we might have. It wasn't a big contact, but I hope that isn't going to slow me down through the rest of this race. Well, we rejoined the live action on lap 4, and Gantulga managed to get past Mettler as well. In fact, Mettler has dropped down to P6 for the time being. So for now, my rearview mirrors are full of Gantulga, not Mettler, as he is now challenging me for the podium. And unfortunately, the top 2 drivers are just getting away from us a bit here. They're 4 seconds up the road now as we're around half race distance. Heavy on the brakes again, and you can see Gantulga thinking about a move down the inside. Thankfully, he thought better of it because he was coming from quite a way back, but he's only 0.3 seconds behind me now on track. So we know as we climb up Eau Rouge and through Radillon that this is going to be another big moment of pressure as we get towards the end of the Kemmel Straight. It's all going to come down to whether he can maintain the overspeed as he peels out of the slipstream. We're side by side heading into the braking zone. He brakes slightly later, but he's on the outside of the corner and he doesn't fancy trying to hold it around the outside. I'm able to hold off the challenge. On to lap 6, and we're still holding P3. Mettler has got himself back up into P5, and Gantulga is still following us closely, just about half a second behind. I have not been able to significantly break the toe. Every time that we just make a little bit of a gap, it gets reeled back in, and when we're on one of the 2 big long straight sections of this track, it means that I'm losing out to the slipstream behind. So I, at the moment, am at the head of this train of cars. We're back to a very tight 3-way battle for the final podium position here as we get into T1 once again. I've just set my fastest lap of the race. We're into the 153s. I'm still about 4/10 off my best in qualifying, so there's more speed to come here, but really I'm not able to extract the maximum from it because I'm spending lap after lap defending my position. And I'm about to do so again. This time we are utilising our boost button here as Gantulga is closing in once more towards the braking zone here. I'm going to stick to the inside, just open out the corner as much as I can, and again that means Gantulga doesn't fancy it around the outside of the corner. I'm able to hold him off, but Gantulga is going to be coming under pressure from Dylan Mettler very, very soon, and we're on to the final lap of the race. It's getting to the point where it's do or die, now or never. Somebody is going to have to make their move, and right now I am extremely concerned that the 3 of us might come together on this final lap as we duke it out one last time up Eau Rouge into Radillon. And look at the closing speed already. Gantulga at the beginning of the Kemmel Straight is just 0.1 seconds behind. He's weaving around, he's trying to get the most of the slipstream that he can. I'm using my boost button now and we're going to use it to the end of the race. I'm able to hold Gantulga off, and look behind, Mettler opportunistically sneaks past as well. What a fantastic bit of racing that is from Dylan Mettler. Let's check it out. On the replay you can see Gantulga comes to the outside of the track. He's just not able to hold it around the outside. That leaves the space for Mettler to sneak past. What a fantastic bit of driving that is. We'll see it from Mettler's on board here, and you can see he spies the gap and then he just rolls the car into it, and by the time Gantulga realises what's happening, it's too late. And that now means as we rejoin the live action with just half a lap to go, it's now Dylan Mettler behind me, and we've really got our work cut out for us if I'm going to be able to hold him off. So much is going to come down to who has preserved their boost through this race. I'm hopeful that my boost is going to last us to the end of the lap here, and it just depends whether Mettler is using his boost now, and if he is, whether it'll last, because he's 0.3 seconds behind here as we approach Blanchimont and head towards the final chicane, and he is closing in rapidly. Remember, we don't know if we're carrying a small bit of damage here that's slowing us down as well. He's going to be side by side as I defend to the inside here. He's right the way alongside me. He's got the inside line for the final bit of the chicane. We get a snap of oversteer on exit. We're side by side heading towards the line. Have we done it? And it looks like we have. Wow, I have never ever had a race finish like that before. That is unbelievable, and you can see the red light flashing there on Mettler's car. That was his boost running out. We managed to maintain ours to the finish of the race, and it proved crucial. We held on to P5 3 by the thinnest of margins. You'll see it again here from the aerial view. He's got the high ground here to begin with, but we're able to power out the corner. I very nearly lost the car there. A little bit of wheel banging between us, and look at how close it was in the end. Quite extraordinary, but fantastic racing all the way through there. I really enjoyed the battle with both Metler and Gantulga. I thought that was really great racing, and we've got a decent haul of championship points there, a nice boost to my iRating as well. And given this will be my only chance to race at Spa this week, I'm really pleased with how that went. If you want to see more Super Formula action, I've got you covered on the channel. Check out the video on screen now.